let's talk about the Young Bucks no longer being EVPs because, man, do I love comedy. And the comedic timing on this stuff was brilliant. From the interview in the basement with Renee, Tony Schiavone can get some heat occasionally. Tony Schiavone delivering the one-liner about, oh no, they're waiting on the pyro at the perfect timing was so golden to me. It was old school. I loved it. They truly paid that off. And I think things like this, going back to like being the elite, are where the Young Bucks really shine when it comes to promo work and outside the ring. They're amazing at stuff like this, and it over delivered in my eyes. I anticipated something. I didn't anticipate the brilliance of like the doing the pose and looking like, where's the fireworks? Where's the It was so good. All of it from top to bottom. But Shadi, talk to me about it.
Yeah, man, I think the Young Bucks are some of the most creative guys in this industry. Like they are able to reinvent themselves so many times in the last few years. They are far more than just people that have a high work rate. They are guys that have a lot of character to them, and them kind of going heel with the EVPs to this whole forefathers thing to now being stripped the EVP titles and everything. Like just a little, like you mentioned, a little comedic stuff where they kind of gave them the funny Titantron of them kind of losing and whatnot. Then you also got the aspect of, them not getting the pyro, them trying to do the EVP trigger, but not saying it and kind of like freezing in time. And eventually the move doesn't happen. Like little stuff like that to the bit shows why they are one of the best in this business and one of the best tag teams of all time. Like, let's not shy away of giving them their credit. These guys are innovators for what they do in the ring, but yeah, they've built so much to it, and I think this is going to be very interesting because it's fresh, it's new. I like stuff like this. I like to not to go to WWE, but when like Baron Corbin became Broke Corbin, like to me that was fun. Like it's a complete 180 to something. The ego trip, the power is gone. It's stripped, and now you get to see how they're gonna overcome all of this. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, we'll talk about the last topic, but there's new EVPs, and I want to see more of it. Even if they don't feud with them per se, I want to see Swerve and Osprey do some like cheeky stuff, man. Like have them. He got punked out by Ricochet. They got punked out by Ricochet yesterday. Like stuff like that.
Sadly.
Even more stuff. Like more. Having them have impromptu matches that kind of make them look like goobers in ways as well. Like I think a lot of that could be good because that type of character work is always great, man. We see it all across wrestling. I think that's a big reason why people love Dominic Mysterio so much. It's the fact that that silliness and goofiness is something that takes you back to a time frame, right? Like when we
Yeah.
were watching like a lot of the Attitude Era and Ruthless Aggression, you had a lot of like off the wall funny, some controversial, a lot of
Yeah.
controversial characters. So
Quite a bit of controversial, but some humor in there as well. And I agree.
yeah.
I love the comparison to Corbin. Here's a theory I have though.
Mm-hmm.
And this is interesting. I've wanted to talk about this for a while, and I want to get both your thoughts on this. So they're no longer the EVPs of AEW, but we do know their history with a certain company on the West Coast, one that a certain person has been very critical of. And there's a rec center in Rosita that's available. And I think this leads to the announcement that the Young Bucks have acquired PWG down the road. And that will be their new passion project as a part of AEW. I think they're gonna acquire Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, and I think that's the next logical step in this storyline. We don't have Power here anymore, but we'll get that, and there will be some crossover there. I think that's a really good idea. I don't know, David, give me your thoughts on that one.
No, I think that's a cool idea. I like the idea of the PWG. If I could give one major complaint from this show, I promise I'm not just. I like this show. I like this show quite a bit as an episode of TV. But I felt like a lot of the comedy was really, really good. I just wouldn't have had them look so dominant in the win. I was really confused as to why we do the whole show basically setting them up as you said, as goobers that get beat, that have kind of fallen down the totem pole. And then they basically handily beat Bandido sort of 2-1. I know the whole thing. I completely understand why Hechicero did it to get the win over Bandito. But it's the very specific call from Shivani, because Shivani says, "Oh, I think it was Shivani says, oh, Bandito was out before the sleeper went in, so the Bucks beat him with the super kick. The Bucks knocked him out." Which to me, I feel like kind of reduces the comedy, reduces the fall factor. You want to be able to laugh at them just for a bit. I'm not saying, punk them into oblivion. They're still one of the best teams in the world, and I get they want to show that. But to me, I would have had, if you had to do this finish, do the super kick, and then sort of have, for whatever reason, they're taken out, and then Hechicero wins. So it's made very clear Hechicero has won this match, not the Bucks and Hechicero. I don't know. It's not terrible. It's just like the match was excellent, but it's just like, let's laugh at them a bit more before we get the redemption the other way. I'd have let the Callis thing go a few weeks as well. Like, make it really feel like there is nobody else in this division wants anything to do with these absolutely tyrannical, like, I'm trying to find really hard not to swear, idiots. I'll go with that.
Well, it's like, now that we don't have to answer to you, we're not friends anymore.
Exactly.
Right?
Like, now the faces the faces are mocking you, the heels don't want anything to do with you, they've got nobody left. I would have had Okada probably turn their backs on them as well and just go, I don't need you anymore, and go like boom, 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 boom. And then if you want to have Callis or somebody like that come in, then we start the slow build back up the other way. I think it was just all a bit rushed.
Callis is running away with Manager of the Year this year, though. He manages everybody.
He manages everybody. And more importantly, he doesn't just manage everybody. He's really good at it. His voice on commentary adds so much to any match that he's in. It's the reason why my favorite manager, genuinely my favorite manager ever, was William Regal when he managed the Blackpool Combat Club, because he'd be on commentary for every BCC match, and he would make the commentary 15 times better by the fact he was there. So that Callis constantly being on commentary, he's a fantastic commentator. Anybody that's ever watched New Japan can tell you that, from back in the day. So he's an amazing commentator. He's an amazing manager. He seems realistic. I love Don Callis. And to be honest with you, does he have too many clients? Probably. But to me, he is, I've said this before, Don Callis is the closest we have ever come to recreating Bobby Heenan. And it's a task that is borderline impossible to do. But if you think about the Heenan family, who had main event level talents, and then he had, I think he managed the Berserker at one point. Like he'd have talents up there, he'd have talents down there, he'd be all over the shows in all these different places. And I think and he'd be on commentary as well. And I think that's the closest comparison I can say.
I also think, by comparison to like a Paul Heyman, for example, when it comes to Heenan, there is this level of like that Don Callis has. Heyman seems to care at times. Callis and Heenan don't care what anyone thinks. In a way that's like, it doesn't matter. Heyman's the slimy one because he'll convince you that he's emotionally invested. Heenan and Callis have this brilliance of like, how could anybody possibly trust them? But they continue to get people to do so. And it's like, I think it's fascinating.
Sorry, go on, Chubb.
No. I just love the fact that his, he stands on business. He hates Kenny Omega now. And he's going to make sure Kenny Omega has no level of success in the rest of his career in AEW.
That is the truth.